for us, that is. 5 defeats in a row, and then it was Arne Slot's former team in Feyenoord that made it 3-3 the other night. You were at the game. Did you hear any of the Arne Slot, la la? What did you think of all that to start with?
To be honest, there's 3 or 4 Feyenoord lads that come to the games with us in Europe. They watch City abroad with us. So I know quite a bit about Feyenoord and their fans. They're great fans, you know what I mean? Really good. So, yeah, man, they're bigging him up, you know, because they've probably got a bit of grief. So, you know, Arne Slot's left you and that. And I bet the rival fans in Holland were expecting him to come to the Premier League and do a Ten Hag and end up shit. But he's running with it. So they're bigging him up. You know, fair play. It's only like you guys. If you went somewhere where Jurgen Klopp was, you'd probably big him up, old Jurgen. But no, yeah, Feyenoord, we were 3-0 up, we were cruising, never looked like getting beat. Nothing in the world suggested we were going to, even concede. And then you concede one, you think, right, all right, then let's just relax. 3-1's fine. 3-2, you think, shit. Yeah, 3-2, we're going to get a bit of criticism, we'll win, but it'll just be one of them, you only just won. And then 3-3, it was just like, wow. I was just thinking, unbelievable. They're defending a high line. You're 3-0 up. He's made the subs. He's brought the kids on, which is fine. You know, I'd have probably done the same. Didn't look in trouble, and then they caught us out. But we've not been the same all season. I said it on the Big Six. People were saying I was taking the piss because we were second, but I've watched City win 4 titles in 4 years, and this team, you couldn't get a team that's further off that. It can't press. It's getting pressed. It's conceded 17 goals in the last 6 games.
Oh, that, mate. That's unbelievable. That number
it's a joke, mate. And teams haven't got that. Once you get beat once, the next couple of times after that, usually you put it right. So people realise that, yeah, they're dangerous, this team. But when you're on a run of defeats, teams can smell blood and they're like, you know what, they're not the same, let's go for them. And then it gets worse and worse, and we aren't the same, and we're miles off it. So teams are just coming with no fear. We've lost 1 game at the Etihad in the league in 2 years, so we can't moan as a fan base. You know what I mean? We've won 4 league titles on a roll. We cannot moan as a fan base, but we are allowed to be unhappy with it, because the club have set a standard in this football club now, which is way up here. And we used to get criticised in the early Mancini, Pellegrini days for having that typical City mentality where if something went wrong, the City fans would panic. And then people used to say, you're not that club anymore, you need to bring your mentality up. So now we've brought our mentality up to here and we've dropped to here. Apparently now we're not allowed to moan about that either. So it's like, it's a bit of a weird feeling. A lot of the younger generation fans are having severe head loss, meltdowns, can't handle it. A lot of the older ones are having a bit of a perverted, I think they kind of like it, you know what I mean, in a way where it brings you back down to earth. Me, myself, I'm rolling with it. I don't give a shit. You know me. I'm there through it all. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I'm there week in, week out anyway. I don't mind. But people got to realise it's part of football. There's 90-odd other clubs in this league that would swap tomorrow where we are. And it's just it's football swings and roundabouts. You're going to get it, and you got to take it on the chin. We've been strolling around like Lord Muck for 4 years. Didn't give a fuck about anyone. So you can't start crying when you get a smack in the face, and that's what it is, a smack in the face. And you know, there's going to be a few more smacks coming, I think.
Yeah, when you look at the way you've been defeated in these games with that high line, with conceding a lot of goals, it's just so uncharacteristic for City. But is that a result of just time, Mother Nature? You know, when you look at Liverpool in 2021, the year after we won the league, obviously there was a big drop off, but a lot of people said, well, yeah, Henderson's a year older, Fabinho's a year older, Wijnaldum's a year older, Van Dijk, they were saying that then, they're not saying it now, but you know, the Gundogan's who's obviously come back in, the Kevin De Bruyne's, the Kyle Walkers, the John Stones, they are pushing a little bit age-wise. Is that just a natural thing, or is it a bit deeper than that?
Well, with City, one thing they have been good at is freshening it up. If you look at the players they've lost over the last 10 years,
they're the best at that.
David Silva, Aguero, Vincent Kompany, Yaya Toure, Joe Hart, Zabaleta. You know, all these players we lost, and we never had a drop off. So they always seem to be 2 or 3 transfer windows ahead. But if you look at the last 2 transfer windows from City, it's been very uncharacteristic of them. They've got players from within the group. They've got Haaland, etc. It's fine. But in the summer, I think there was a real possibility that Pep was going to leave. So I think the board thought, you know what, we've got a decent squad. We've won the league. We'll add 1 or 2. We'll get through this season, and then the new manager can come in. He can have a war chest and go again. But Oscar Bob broke his leg. Rodri got his ACL. We never replaced Alvarez. And then now you're thinking, oh, shit, it turns from looking good on paper to, like, really thin. You know what I mean? And we've got away with it last couple of years with the squad. We had De Bruyne injured for 6 months. We had Haaland injured for 2 months. We got away with it. We had replacements. But Rodri's always been the central key to everything, defending and attack. You take him out, we just have nobody there. There's not many around Europe that can touch him. So that's a big problem. But I think there's been some big mistakes made from the top to the bottom of the club, and it's left us short. But you know yourself, when Liverpool drops off, nobody's giving you any sympathy. You know, nobody's going to say, oh, well, fair, where they've got no Rodri. No one cares. They just see Man City struggling, bang, 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 bang. And you can't blame them for that. But for me as a City fan personally, I'm just saying I believe there's been mistakes made. Now Pep's committed to the club, which is fine. But I feel like we're in a mad position in January where we've got to go and buy players, and we're probably going to have to overpay because these teams are going to think, well, if you want him in January, it's going to be an extra 20 mil. You know what I mean? 100%. So
that's the City side of things, the context around the last few games, which does include Pep making a very weird, I don't even want to call it a joke about self-harm. He's obviously got cuts and scratches on his face. He has come out after, to be fair to him, and put out a bit of a PR statement that, you know, defends what he said. But as a rival fan, you got to understand, Steve, like, we've never seen him like this, ever. And this is after signing a new contract. So he's clearly upset. He's clearly physically, you know, not himself. And now he's got to come to Anfield on Sunday. And from the Liverpool point of view, yeah, you're right. What a time to have City round. And I think if we win this one, it becomes 11 points. Do you think, I mean, what I think, I've been hurt so many times by City that I until it's mathematically impossible. And people hate that. They're all trying to get me to say it with chest on DR. They all want me to go out there, but I'm not AFTV. I don't move like that.
Yeah, man, they're bigging him up, you know, because they've probably got a bit of grief, say, you know, Arne Slot's left you and that.